Time now for your forewarned weather with Thomas Keyboy.
Good Wednesday morning, Utah. We're halfway through the work week. The time is currently 6:13. If you head out the door in northern Utah, you might notice some gusty winds. We talked about this yesterday, that we were going to see gusty easterly canyon winds, and that's exactly what we have out there this morning. One of the strongest wind gusts that we actually have is currently in Logan, gusting to 47 miles per hour, while on the northern Wasatch Front, we have gusts anywhere from 24 miles per hour at the U of U to 44 miles per hour up around Farmington. We've also seen some pretty gusty winds at the mouth of Weber and Ogden canyons. So if you're traveling in those spots this morning, make sure that you have both hands on the wheel if you're driving on those north to south routes in those high profile vehicles, as those winds could shake you just around a little bit. So looking at those gusty winds, and we'll hold on to those gusty winds over the next few hours. We do have a wind advisory in place for both Weber and Davis County until 9 o'clock, because once we get into mid-morning and move towards this afternoon, those winds will gradually subside, even though it still might stay relatively breezy even into the early stretches of the afternoon. One product of these gusty canyon winds, and one of the good things about them, is that we have seen some of the haze clear out. This is the view from Ensign Peak, where yesterday, if I showed you this view, you wouldn't really be able to see into the Salt Lake Valley. You can out there this morning, so our air quality not looking all that bad at this point. However, once those winds do begin to die down, we will be talking about that haze building in pretty quickly. As you head out the door this morning, our temperatures are mainly in the 20s and 30s. It's a chilly start to the morning, but pretty close to what we saw yesterday morning. Meanwhile, in southeastern Utah, it's as quiet as you would like for the time being. And the reason why I'm showing this camera in Blanding is because once we get into this afternoon, there will be the potential we could see some wet weather throughout the southeastern corner of the state. All of that being driven by an upper level low pressure. We talked about the low pressure yesterday being a moisture starved system. That is still the case for the most part, but now that it's moving down to the southeast, it's actually picking up a little bit of moisture. And as we get that wraparound, there will be that potential basically from the Colorado River Basin eastward to see the chance for isolated to scattered showers, while the rest of the state will generally check in with mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies, which means along the Wasatch Front might not be a bad day to take your dog for a walk, as temperatures will eventually climb into the low 40s with a little bit more of that haze. But this is Lucy right here. Maybe he doesn't want to hang out in the valley and go up one of the canyons, ready to go with that Christmas sweater. Doesn't get much better than that. Love these festive dog walking forecasts that we have. As for our regional forecast, daytime highs in northern Utah will mainly be in the 30s and 40s, while in central and southern Utah, daytime highs will mainly be in the 40s and 50s. We'll see a daytime high of 42 in Salt Lake, while Ogden might sneak into the middle 40s at 44, and Park City will top out at 36. In central Utah, we'll get to 41 in Fairview, 53 in Castledale, and a daytime high of 44 in Richfield. Then down in southern Utah, it's a daytime high of 54 in St. George under a mix of sun and clouds, 44 for Escalante. But by the time you make your way over towards Monticello, there will be the chance of rain and snow, with a daytime high climbing to 43 degrees. Let's go ahead and begin the futurecast. We'll start this at 8 o'clock this morning, and throughout the morning, things stay relatively quiet, even in southeastern Utah. And then by this afternoon, those winds dying down in the northern half of the state as the chance of wet weather picks up, especially in San Juan and Grand counties, with a chance of low elevation rain, high elevation snow. And by this evening, we actually could see a few showers sneak their way just to the west of the Colorado River Basin, so maybe Hanksville and even up towards Castle Country with the chance of finding some wet weather. But that chance will gradually go down from late tonight into tomorrow, and then by tomorrow afternoon, high pressure builds back in. We'll be looking at quiet skies across the state, and once the high pressure establishes itself, we'll see our temperatures go on a slow but steady warming trend, which will take us through this upcoming weekend. In St. George, daytime highs will be in the mid-50s the next couple of days, with overnight lows near freezing. Then from Friday into early next week, daytime highs in the upper 50s and low 60s, as overnight lows continue mainly in the 30s. Then along the Wasatch Front, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds today, daytime highs in the low 40s, similar for our Thursday, but then daytime highs will be more so in the middle 40s from Friday through this upcoming weekend, with more haze, with potentially a little bit less in the way of haze by early next week, with daytime highs potentially in the mid to upper 40s along the Wasatch Front.